So to break these birds down into cuts, I'll show you, I'm going to break this first bird down just so you see the flow and how everything goes. And then when I go to break down the second bird, I'll walk through each and every step. So this will just give you an idea of how it goes when I break down this first bird. So there's creases everywhere you're going to cut this bird. So we're going to follow the natural lines of the bird. So to remove the wings, we're going to start at the top and just cut down. We'll use that bird as leverage to get that wing off. So to separate that joint there, keep your knife in there. You want to keep your knife flat to the bird so that you don't cut into the breast. And just take that wing off. That'll be your first one. Same thing on this side. We'll just start at the top, cut down following that crease, separate that joint, and same thing, flat, keep your knife flat to the bird. Your second wing. For the quarters, which is your thigh and drumstick, the first cut you're going to make is just through the skin right here. You can see this line. So you're just going to cut through the skin like that. Get a little tail there, you just pull it off. So now you want to take your quarter and push it back towards the spine of the bird. And that will separate this joint right here. So now when you cut this, you'll see on the back, there's going to be a line. This will be the oyster muscle. You want to pick that up when you cut it off. So you'll cut straight down this line, follow that oyster muscle to the spine, and you'll follow this crease all the way to the tail of the bird. So if you watch the tip of the knife, you can see how it picks up that muscle, and it stays right along that line, straight down to the back, to the tail. Same thing on this side. First cut's just skin. I'm going to separate that joint. Same thing, you can follow, now you can see from the inside, you can follow that knife in, and it goes up around the joint right there, straight back to the tail of the bird. Will be your second quarter. Now if you get a spot like this, where you see it'll have a little bit of cartilage on the inside of there, you want to remove that, just take your knife, just slide it down, pull that piece out. To remove the breast, the only place what you want to do is you want to get the skin off. The only place the skin is attached on the breast is along the keel here. So we'll just separate this little piece of skin that we have here. Pull our breast back, put our thumb inside there, and then just slide it down the breast. That'll take that full piece of skin off. So to remove the breast, you want to, same thing, follow this line right here. There's some connective tissue in there. So So you just take your knife and just cut that. It'll separate that from the ribs. So then just take your thumb. In here is your tender. This is your breast. There's your tender on the inside. You want to ride your thumb underneath the breast, but on top of the tender. Just follow that down. So now your breast is separated. If you get a spot like this where you have some cartilage left over from the wing, I like to now, if this is the time that I like to remove that, so just take your knife and just remove that little piece of cartilage. See, it'll come right off. That'll stay on the bird. And then you want to take your knife and follow the wishbone to where it intersects on the chest right here. So this will be your wishbone right here. Follow that. The same thing on this side. Cut along that line. It'll separate all that connective tissue. Put your thumb inside. Just separate that down. Same thing, start right here where your wing was. Go to the intersection on the chest. Right there. So then to remove the breast, you can continue this cut if you wanted down and follow right along that spine or the keel. I like to cut it from this side, so you'll have the line right down. Follow that. So you just take your knife, cut that straight down, and that will remove your breast. So you can't cut too deep once you meet the keel. You don't have to worry about the cutting too deep because you're going to actually use that cut to separate the tender when you get there. So we'll do the same thing on this side. Follow that down. It'll be both breasts removed. So now in order to get the tenders out, there's connective tissue where the wishbone stops and the keel begins. There's a connective tissue that holds these tenders together. So what you're going to want to do is start on the left side and then cross over to the right. And the same thing, start on the right side and cross over to the left. So you'll actually be cutting between your wishbone and your keel. There's no bone in there, it's just connective tissue. So you just start in. And you'll make an X right there with your knife. So then just to remove the tenders, you just pull it out. You'll have a tender. Same thing on this side. You'll have a tender. So you have two tenders. So then you'll have the backs. You can save the backs if you wish for stocks. And then you'll have your wings that you started with. I remove the wing tips, so it's the same thing. There's a joint right here. You just want to stretch that wing out and then just cut right along that joint right there. And that'll remove the wing tip. Same thing on the other wing. Just follow that joint right there. Sometimes you gotta give it a little twist. So then once you're done, your final cuts will be 2 wings, 2 breasts, 2 tenders, and 2 quarters. So if you want to separate these quarters and have thighs and drumsticks, all you have to do, same thing, it's going to show you right where to cut it. So if you look at this, you can see there's a little valley right here. So I like to grab the thigh side and just take your knife and cut right in that valley right there. And then you'll just cut. You're not cutting through any bone, you're only going to cut cartilage. Then you'll have a thigh and a drumstick. Same thing with this. I hold the thigh side and then just cut down in that valley right there. And you'll have another thigh and a drumstick. You can remove these bones if you want these boneless, or you can leave them just like that.